Well, new tonight, investigating children's deaths.
But the lowest number of homicides in our city in 20 years. That's something that we ought to celebrate.
Well, that was Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther just last month talking about a decrease in homicides in Columbus. But have the numbers declined as much as the city claims?
10 TV's Lacey Crisp is digging into those numbers tonight, and she learned the coroner's office classified some deaths as homicides, but Columbus police did not.
The three victims, children, all younger than 3 years old. Lacey Crisp explains.
Excited. He FaceTimed me every day. So when I got the phone call, I thought it was him.
Akilah Wade has to talk about her 1-year-old grandson, Daimar, in the past tense.
He was a beautiful baby.
Daimar overdosed on fentanyl in February 2024.
My son, it just seemed like he's just, no response. Yeah.
Is he breathing?
Yeah, he's sleep, but it seemed like he's slow breathing.
The coroner's office classified his death as a homicide due to acute toxic effects of fentanyl.
The coroner also reported that the level was high enough to kill 4 adults.
There was also cocaine in his urine.
I just want to see her get help.
Daimar's mother, Diamond Bird, was indicted in January for involuntary manslaughter and endangering children. In March, she was arrested in a stolen car that the owner later said was covered in fentanyl. Diamond was not charged with homicide, despite the coroner's ruling.
She's been charged with manslaughter and child endangerment, but not homicide.
I find that a little unreasonable, considering that he didn't take the fentanyl himself and he didn't purchase the drugs. It should be ruled a homicide.
Like Daimar, 2 other babies, 3 and under, died last year in the city of Columbus because of a fentanyl overdose. In each of those cases, the coroner classified the deaths as homicides, yet CPD did not.
How do you guys, when you're investigating these, label it as a homicide versus an accidental overdose?
Right, so there are instances where toddlers age 2 or 3, they may be running around the house and there's no direct or purposeful action to intentionally harm this child, but the child is, being a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old and they get accidentally exposed to a substance.
Franklin County Coroner Nathaniel Overmeyer says fentanyl deaths need to be taken very seriously because of the small amount it takes to be deadly.
It makes me I'm so frustrated, Lacey, but that since in the early 2010s that we've seen this explosion of fentanyl in our communities, and because of its potency, these kids don't have a chance. You and I don't have a chance against this incredibly powerful drug.
For months, I requested interviews with Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant to ask about the homicide classifications. Assistant Chief Greg Bodker agreed to an interview.
The coroner's office classified all of those as homicides. CPD did not. Why not?
Well, I think you have to look at the entire set of circumstances.
Bodker says CPD has to look at Ohio law and what charges are applicable, even if the coroner rules the deaths as homicides.
Why the change in classification?
I think it's facts. I think it's fact specific. Criminal intent, culpability, those are important things when you're talking about murder.
That's not a good enough answer for Daimar's grandmother.
If you could talk to the police chief over at Columbus Police Department about the decision made not to charge this as a homicide, what would you say?
Do better. Do better. Fentanyl is a dangerous drug, and we got to hold people accountable.
And we reached out to the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. They said in a statement they work with investigators at CPD, and the prosecutors determine the appropriate charges. In Columbus, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.